All right, guys, Joe McDonough here with CageSidePress.com. I am joined by UFC bantamweight, former CES world champ, Tony Gravely, who will be fighting in just about a week's time. Tony, how are you feeling? How's fight camp? And to have, a date, a fight, and we're closing in on fight night.
I'm feeling great. Feel great. And I'm excited. I'm glad, like you said, to have, I had an original opponent. It got changed, but I was pretty confident they would find someone. There's a ton of people that on the UFC roster at bantamweight, and also, I don't think they're going to have trouble. They would have trouble finding someone even if they weren't already in the UFC. So I was confident that they would find someone. So, but I'm just happy to have an opponent and have the date set. And we're less than, I guess, about a week out now. A little over a week, a day over a week out, I guess.
Yeah. And both you and Anthony Birchak, who you're facing next week, and we'll talk about him in a minute, both came into camp fighting someone else. You both had separate opponents, and now both your names have meshed because of, fallouts and all of this stuff. The world of 2020 is, you never really know who you're going to fight. So talk to me about, going into a camp, preparing for a fighter, and then kind of having to, okay, that fighter's gone. Here's the new fighter, and kind of having a shortened camp almost.
Yeah, it's for me, it's not much different. I try to, as a fighter, especially every fighter probably feels this way to a certain degree, that I try not to alter what I do to an opponent. It's all about I'm working on what I'm good at, what is getting me better. And if I'm really good at what I do, it doesn't matter who you put in front of me. So the biggest difference between the two is, I was fighting a longer striker, more of a striker, and now, he's still taller than me, but not quite as long, and more of a grappler. So I like it better because I don't think he's going to run from me or back away. So we're both going to be going forward. And it's not, the filling out process isn't going to take as long when I don't have to chase someone and, in that situation. So, but it wasn't much different. I train with everybody at the gym, all kinds of different body types, skill sets. So when you train like that, when something changes up, you've already been with everybody anyway, So as long as you keep doing what you do and improving your skill set, then it doesn't matter, who they put in front of you.
Yeah. And, 2 fights in 2020, your first UFC victory, which is awesome. And, your move to American Top Team, you've spent time down in Florida now for a year plus now. Talk to me about 2020, just a bizarre year to be, a human being even, but a fighter, and just kind of having no answers on when the next fight's going to be. And now that we're it's already insane to me that we're already, nearly 5 months into 2021, which is bizarre. But talk to me about 2020 as in your case.
Yeah, 2020 was pretty crazy. And I can't look back and say it was bad for me because I got to make my debut right before all this stuff happened, and it was kind of the perfect scenario. It was close to home, had a lot of people, that have been supporting me for my whole life, come and watch me. The only thing that sucks is that I lost, but other than that, everything it was the perfect debut, but, and I got a performance bonus, which helped a lot too, because, looking back, I didn't fight until November. So that extra money helped, carry, and it also helped me have enough money to move here to Florida, down to American Top Team, where, which is, my opinion, and I think is pretty much factual, that it's the best gym in the world, and just getting to be a part of that gym. And I had a long layoff between January and November, but I moved, got settled in, and I've never stopped training. I never did nothing. There were points where I did a little less, but I never did nothing. I was still training, and our gym was closed back in Virginia, so it was kind of limited on certain things I could do. A lot of on my own stuff, but I moved here towards the end of June, and our gym was still American Top Team was still open. So got to get back on track and get prepared for November.
And talk to me about Anthony Birchak. I mean, a savvy veteran. He was in the UFC, I believe, back in like 2013 to 15 or something. Back now, he's on a bit of a losing streak. So this is essentially, and I've had the chance to talk to him too. He said it's a do or die fight for him, and he mentioned that he feels he can beat you everywhere. And I don't know, maybe a little trash talk there. What's your response to that, and what are you expecting from him?
I mean, my response is that's what everybody says. Like I can't tell you how many times every fight I go into, it's the same thing. And I admire that confidence, and I hope he really believes that, and I hope he does have that confidence, because I want the best Anthony Birchak that I can get, because I'm here for tough fights. That's why, I want to be in the UFC. I know I'm going to have tough fights, but I like the matchup. I like the fact that, he's a grappler as well. So like I said, we're both going to, whether it's striking or grappling, I don't think he's going to back up. So we're both going to come forward, and the action's going to start pretty quick, which is what I like. I like it to just get going, So I like the matchup. I've fought a lot of grapplers. My majority of my fights, and more specifically the last 5-6 fights, have been all black belts in jiu-jitsu and good grapplers. So, I know he's tough, and I'm not underestimating him in any way, but, I feel like I've fought tougher opponents, and I train with tougher fighters every single day. So, whatever he throws at me, I'm prepared for.
Killing him with kindness, Tony, as always. With how good of a grappler he is, and he's a 10th planet, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Would this be a fight where, if you are touching him up on the feet, that you'd like to keep it there? I know, you love to wrestle, you love to strike, you're great everywhere. But is this one of those fights where, if you can keep it standing, you'd like to?
Honestly, I'll keep it wherever I'm having the most success. So it's not, there isn't anything about him that makes me not want to be in one area or another. He might be a good grappler, but I'm also a good grappler. I'm not the best jiu-jitsu guy, but my grappling is good enough to nullify a lot of the jiu-jitsu. So this wouldn't be the first time that I've went against a really good grappler or anything like that. So, I mean, wherever I'm having the most success is where I'm going to spend the most time. So I'm pretty open to wherever it happens to go.
And we're all excited to see that wherever it happens to be. 135, absolute killer division. I'd like to think that you're right on the bubble right there of a ranking, maybe with a big win. There's a plethora of names, whether ranked, unranked. You could pick a name out of a hat, and it'd be exciting. Is there anyone in mind? I know you're not overlooking Anthony in any way, but is there anyone in mind that really next would excite you a lot?
I mean, I haven't really specifically looked at certain fighters, but I was scheduled to fight Nate Maness, so I would like to fight him. You get when you get a fight scheduled, you it's like you almost not really obsessed with the person, but just putting a face on what you're doing, and you put so much energy into this this person and their body type and just their face and what you're doing. So, I would like to fight him. And also, I haven't really said this like on any kind of platforms or anything, but I'm actually, I'm thinking about dropping down to 125 after this fight. I'm not positive yet though, because I'm not as you can tell, I'm not very big bantamweight. So, I walk around probably like 145 and 46 usually, somewhere around there. That's high, like 150 is like the high you usually get. So, which is probably it's like the average flyweight size pretty much. So, I might test the waters there and see like how my body feels. And if I'm able to perform the same at 125 and feel the same, then I might make that drop, but haven't fully committed yet. It's still hard for me to try to say, all right, this is what I'm doing for sure. But I've been thinking more about it lately than I have before.
And that's super exciting. And the flyweight division right now has probably never been more exciting than it has been now. It's, we think about the fact that, only a couple of years ago, the save the flyweights movement was happening, and now it's one of the most exciting divisions in the UFC. So to add Tony Gravely to that would be massive. Last one for me, Tony. A prediction next week from tomorrow. What do we see?
I think I'll get a knockout or a TKO in the second or third round. That I feel like that's a pretty spot on assessment of how I'm picturing this fight playing out. I think that he's a tough guy and he's going to come out hard, but I have a feeling he's not going to be able to keep that hard pace that he's going to put out in the first, half of the first round or the first round. I think that the first 2 minutes is going to be the best he has to offer me. And I think after that, it's not going to be too good for him. I think that I can keep a solid pace for 15 minutes if I have to, or 25 minutes, however long it takes. I'm not saying he can't. I just know that I can, and I know that when it comes to being uncomfortable and being tired and hitting that wall, I'm more comfortable than a lot of people being uncomfortable in that situation, and that's what is one of my biggest attributes as a fighter, is the fact that I'm tough and I can push through that suffering a little more than a lot of fighters can.
And as I've watched you throughout your career, you love those deep waters, and you are confident in those deep waters, and we love to see it. Tony, thank you for the time. Always great to catch up, man. I appreciate it, and I look forward to next week.
No problem at all. Thank you so much for the interview and the platform.
Awesome, man. Thank you.